Hello. I hope everybody is doing well. If you're new to my channel, make sure you hit the notification bell and make sure you're subscribed, okay? Because it's definitely going to be a bumper ride that y'all are going to want to be a part of. It's fun over here, but it gets deep. Hello and welcome. For those of you that are new to my page, my name is Luna and I am a hoodoo spiritualist and tarot reader. And today we are going to be getting into the highly requested topic that you guys put up on the poll on my IG. So if you don't follow me on IG, make sure you're doing that, okay? Because that is where I'm getting the topics for these videos, all right? I'm giving y'all what y'all asking for. So with that being said, again, this was highly requested in the poll and you guys wanted to see love spells gone wrong. Now, a lot of people, when they're starting their spiritual journey, for whatever reason, y'all want to play with love spells. And I don't know why that is the first spell that y'all want to try to cast. I don't know. It is beyond me and I never will understand it. But that's the first thing that y'all try to do for whatever reason. Especially a lot of the girlies, okay? Y'all will get into spirituality for the sake of trying to manipulate some picklehead boy into liking you. Don't do that. And these next 6 videos are going to show you why. Now, in these next 6 videos, these different creators are going to talk about love spells that were conducted and went wrong, all right? Whether you realize it or not, I'm sure you have seen a love spell that has backfired or gone wrong. The best example that I can give you that's kind of current events that everybody has been very annoyed with, this is just me personally, is Chrisean Rock and Blueface. Chrisean got into some type of altercation fight. I don't really know. Like I said, I do my best to stay out of it because it's just toxic and I don't want no parts of it, okay? I don't need it, don't want it, don't care to be entertained by it. But there was something that her and Blueface had gotten into it about, and apparently that was when her tooth came out. Apparently, when that happened, she took her blood and wrote his name in her blood on the wall, not knowing she was casting a spell. This is why she can't leave him alone. This is why she's constantly running back to him. This is why she can't leave him. This is why she's doing the back and forth, because the spell backfired. But again, that is just one example. But we're going to get into these 6 videos about love spells that have backfired and gone terribly wrong. Now, this first video that we're going to go over is going to be similar to Chrisean and Blueface situation that I just was referring to. It's a very similar situation. There is a Jamaican man who is in a relationship or situationship with a girl, and they keep going back and forth about breaking up and making up, making up and breaking up. And one day he says he's done. But then all of a sudden he starts to get the urge to want to go back to her. Let's see why though.
I want another love spell story because I'm on a roll today. Somebody just submitted this one to me and this one is good. I can't believe you guys are this unhinged. Let's get into the story time. This one is T. We're gonna call this guy Andre. Andre was the one who submitted this story to me, and Andre's Jamaican. Getting back together, she was really pushy in terms of sex. He said that he was never the type of dude to run a red light, okay? But one day during that time of the month for his girl, she really wanted to do it. And she convinced him and they did it. Keep in mind that this girl had already met Andre's parents, and Andre mentioned that his mother never liked his girlfriend. But you know, Jamaican parents are hard to please. One day, the mom came up to him and said, "Son, I had a dream. Like, I really don't like that girl, you know? I had a dream that your grandmother came to me and told me that she was working Obia on you. Do what you want with that information, but I don't think you should stay with her." Andre is a spiritual dude. Andre's a spiritual dude, but he's like, Obia? I don't know. So he decides to go home and he sat his girlfriend down and started by saying, "I know what you've been doing to me," just to see if she would say anything. He said that my mother came up to me and said that she had a dream, and went on to tell her what the mother's dream was. And he said, "Well, does that sound familiar?" And homegirl would say, "Okay, so now here's the tea." She said during one of their back and forth, she said that, well, she read somewhere that blood is a very powerful ingredient to binding, and mirrors are also very powerful magic tools. So she thought, why don't I just combine both? She said that one day she missed him so much that she wrote his name in blood in the mirror, and she stood in front of it and summoned him. She was also saying affirmations like, "You're obsessed with me, you want me, you love me, you can't leave me alone." She said she didn't think it would work because she had only did it once and it took him a while to get to her, to get back together with her. And she also brought up that time that they did it while she was on her He said he was utterly disgusted that she would even do something like that. He said he left. He said he did a cleanse on one of the beaches. He wore all white and then walked into the water, dunked his head to try to cleanse himself and get rid of her energy or her spirit around. Well, he successfully stayed away from her. But she, on the other hand, cannot leave that man alone. He says that this girl is literally obsessed with him, like showing up to his house, obsessed with him, get cussed out by his family and still comes back because she wants the man that bad. She told him that if he doesn't get back together with her, that she will unalive herself. And she attempted. Her family found her, took her to the hospital. And when she came back home from the hospital, guess who was the first person she went to go see? Andre. And Andre says that it's gotten to the point where she done fought his mama. It's gotten to the point where she done fought his mama, his sister, his cousin. She done got jumped. And that girl don't care. She want that man. He says that she doesn't present as a physical threat to him, but he's definitely afraid for the ladies around him because she has also showed up to his dates, sat on top of his car, and refused to get off the car because he was with another woman. And now he's thinking about moving because he cannot get rid of her. And the craziest thing is he didn't do nothing. She was trying to get him to be obsessed with her, but some way, somehow, I never heard this before, but a Uno reverse happened and she winded up being the obsessed one. Golly, that was a good one. Thank you, Andre.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but one thing it's never been, for me, is that fucking deep when it comes to trying to have a little boyfriend or have a little boo. I'm sorry. It's never been that deep. I'm not going to sit up here. Let me choose my words carefully because I don't want to get demonetized. Okay? I am never going to use my own fluids to try to manipulate, because that's what it is. It's a manipulation of energy. I'm never going to use my own fluids to do that. That is not okay. I repeat, that is not okay. So if you're watching this video, if you came across this video because you were even considering doing a love spell, especially if you were considering using your own fluids or someone else's fluids, if not both, this is your sign. Don't do it. It's going to go bad. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Okay? You heard it from your favorite spiritual god sister, okay? You heard it from your god sister first. Don't do it. Because y'all are going to be trying to hit me up to ask me to do uncrossing. And guess what? I'm not getting involved. Now, this next video that we're going to go ahead and get into explains exactly what I was saying in reference to trying to trap and manipulate someone or their energy. It's just a no-no all around. And honestly, she gives a really good example. I mean, granted, I might not have thought about it off the top of my head, but she gave a damn good example. So let's go ahead and get into why, again, you should not be trying to manipulate anybody's energy, especially for a love connection. Let it be genuine. Let it be organic, okay? If that person, all right, because I've seen men do love spells too, and they do them real sneaky, like even sneakier than women. I don't care what nobody says. Men are some spiritual men that know what they're doing when it comes to these roots and herbs and magic. Baby, be careful. Be careful.
This is how a love spell can backfire. Let's say I see this cat somewhere. I want this cat. I want this cat in my house. I want to keep this cat because I love this cat is so adorable and I really want to keep this cat. I can trap this cat. I can build a relationship with this cat. I can call it. I can coax it with good food. I can trap it. I can put it in my home, keep it in my home over time. Eventually it'll become my cat, right? It can choose to be my cat. I also find this cat to be adorable. I can try to keep this cat in my home. If I trap this cat and I bring it into my house, I can lock it in a bedroom. What do you think this cat is going to do in that bedroom? This cat is going to fuck shit up because it doesn't want to be there. It may not be able to get out, but it's going to fuck shit up while it's in there. Now, you can do what you want. I just think it makes for a far more peaceful life to keep something that actually wants to be there. You can put up baby gates. You can put up whatever else to keep a cat in there. But I mean, ultimately, it really is the cat's choice if you think about it. Andy, why are you comparing men to cats? They compare us to worse. They'll be all right.
Now, again, when it comes to love spells, a lot of people who try to do love spells say, oh, it doesn't work, it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Sometimes, honestly, when it comes to spell work, it does take more than one attempt. I've even had my own personal clients, well, former clients, let me put it like that, because I definitely dropped them. I've even had to explain that to my own clients and former clients. Sometimes you have blockages. Sometimes there are other spirits and forces working against you. All right. So sometimes it will take more than one attempt for a spell to work, or it may take a while for a spell to work because you've only attempted it one time. But again, when it comes to love spells, baby, that is a very tricky avenue because your intentions, I can't stress this enough, matter. All right. Whether you watch my previous videos on spell work or candle work, again, your intentions matter. So it's one thing to do a love connection spell. It's another to do a manipulative love spell. All right. There's a difference between the two, especially if the other party does not know that you're doing work on them. Again, I've done love connection work for myself and my partner before in the past. Like I've done that before and he's been aware of it. You know, like I've never done anything to where he was never aware of it. And it was honestly all, again, good intentions. I wanted to build our communication. I wanted to build our bond. I wanted a mutual meeting in the middle of finding love and taking this journey together. It's all positive intentions. It was nothing manipulative. And things are going great. But this ain't about me. This is about the ones that's going wrong, okay? Let's get into this next one.
Y'all doing these love spells. Let me tell you the dangerous part of it. If a person don't want you and you do a spell to make that person come back, did you know every little thing that person don't like gonna come on their mind? Let's say you got a man, right? The only thing make him mad is when you keep going out with your friends or dudes keep hollering at you. Did you know this how the devil works? The devil would send all those different kind of men to talk to you, knowing your man crazy. All of a sudden, your man want to jump on you, put his hands on you. And men put spells on women too, trying to make that woman stay with him because she fine, she got this and that. I don't want nobody to have him. I'm telling you. Some of these women go crazy over a man. And then all of a sudden, different women in your inbox, all of a sudden, all these folks trying to talk to you, she think you cheating, and you done broke her heart so many times. That woman gonna do something to you and do something to them women too. Y'all better be careful playing with this stuff now. It's real out here.
Now, like I said, when someone is attempting to do a love spell, or if you go to someone to do a love spell, because I know a lot of y'all don't want to dibble and dabble in the arts of casting yourselves, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. It's not meant for everybody. Stay in your own spiritual lanes. But again, if you are not a person who wants to actually get into casting themselves, again, it's perfectly fine to go to someone who knows what they're doing. But again, make sure they know what they're doing. And then the problem is, again, when you're going for these spells that are manipulative over someone else's time, energy, and space, you're going to have to keep feeding that. You're going to have to keep feeding the work. You're going to have to keep feeding that spell. This next video is going to explain further what exactly that means.
That worker that you paid to put that love spell on that guy, you're gonna have to keep doing more and more and more to keep him there. Because one day he's gonna end up just beating you because he's not there by his own volition.
Can you please let me close the door? Can you stop?
For real, Rosie?
Why are you doing this? I've asked you numerous times to stop.
Because you feel for your safety, right?
Because I want you to stop.
Now you're setting me up, right?
No.
I actually been itching to cover this topic. See, a lot of folk done started their spiritual journey on social media. And while ain't nothing wrong with that, a lot of people didn't know what they were getting into, and then they got their ass in some shit. It's all fun and games being a Bruja and a starseed until the responsibility of universal law comes in. What do I mean by that? Well, the spiritual world is governed by universal law. So, unlike the misconception of many people in religion, there are rules. And the universe can only work with the current frequency that you are on. Why is this important? Because if you are vibrating low, that is what you are going to attract. How do you know if you're vibrating low? You got to get really, really real about your shit. If you are in a state of depression, if you are filling up voids, if you have unhealed trauma, if you are coming from a place of scarcity, baby, you're vibrating low. And the universe is going to align you to an equal magnetic equivalent. Also, y'all be so worried about your man putting hard eyes on a girl's comments and what she got that I don't got, and operating from a place of insecurity, right? Not knowing the whole time your man used other women as a distraction for his demons. Not that I condone it, but I'm just telling you what it is. And next thing you know, once he becomes attached to you, all hell break loose. Mother wound showing, self-hatred showing, low self-worth showing. Sis, you manifested a whole ass demon. Y'all stay safe out here.
Now, this next creator is going to talk about a very interesting form of love spells, and that is going to be sex magic, okay? If you're not 18 or older, please don't be watching this. I don't have time for your parents, okay? I ain't got time. But again, sex magic is a form of a love spell, all right? Whether you realize it or not. That's why y'all got to be very careful with who y'all sleep with, all right? Because it's not just physical, it's spiritual too. A lot of you all do not understand that. There would be no physical without the spiritual, and vice versa. But that's another video within itself, all right? So far, if you're liking this content right here, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all right? Hit that notification bell and leave it down in the comments. If there's something else that you guys are wanting to see that could lead us further down the rabbit hole, again, leave it in the comments. But again, we're about to get into this 4-part doozy where he is going to further explain how his friend got caught up in some spicy time magic.
So I was just scrolling on my timeline being nosy, and I came across this video. And in the video, this girl was talking about sex magic. I know it's getting spicy, but hear me out. So that triggered a memory I forgot I had about a legit time my friend messed with a demon. And by messed with, she slept with one. So this is what happened. Story time part 1. So like, I'm gonna try to keep this as blunt as possible. I have a friend who love hood niggas, and there ain't nothing wrong with that because everybody has their type. So she started fucking with this guy that she met on Facebook. Bada boom, bada bang. He comes over to her house. Rule number 1, never invite anybody that you're gonna fuck with to your house. Everybody's house should always be sacred. They have to earn their interest. They don't just come on the first time. Now, I'm not saying you can't fuck with them on the first day, because let's be real, we're in 2022. But your house, your apartment, your whatever is a sacred space. Treat it as up. Just my opinion. Don't mean nothing else to nobody outside of me. So it's also important to know he's heavily gang affiliated, and by gang affiliated, I mean this nigga's in the trench. Part 2 of how my friend ended up messing with a demon. So let's get right back into it. So she like hood niggas, no big deal. So in the last part, when I said he was gang affiliated, I don't mean like, oh, I have a clique. No, he would openly talk about his trauma and the bodies he's caught. Because like he said, it's not like they're ever going to be found. I said, that's my cue. Because as y'all know, if y'all been on here for a while, I come from a spiritual family. Grandmother was psychic, my mom's psychic, a lot of my aunties are psychic. You know, in the way I've just grown up, the hood don't fuck with me and I don't fuck with the hood. Because I just don't want to have the worry of every third Wednesday out of the month, I might get hate crime. So they keep fucking around for like a month and a half, right? It's going pretty consistent. But I noticed her energy started changing, and she even noticed her energy started changing. I didn't want to tell her it was the nigga because, you know, us have the gay best friends always know. Because people forget, they just think gay is a personality trait, but they forget we niggas too. So we know when a nigga ain't shit, because sometimes we ain't shit. Part 3 down below. So we on the phone one night having one of our annual best friends gossip sessions, and she's telling me how she's just haven't been feeling herself. And I've never been a bitch to beat around the subject. I'm like, bitch, it's your nigga, because I'm not one to skate around the truth. Love her to death, but my girl's like, what do you mean? She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, girl, he said he took bodies and they would never be found. And she's like, so? I'm like, girl, if you grew up in spirituality, if you know, that whenever a person takes a life, especially gangbangers or murderers or anybody who takes lives outside of their predestined path that they're supposed to take, those spirits attach to you. Now, I don't know what y'all believe, but that's not my business. All I know is this: whenever you kill somebody, this is just me speaking, and it's not justified, i.e. self-defense, those spirits will attach to you. So that's why when I say a person has bodies, whether you're psychic or not, he has bodies attached to him, whether they're visible to the naked eye or not. And depending on how they die is the darkness they carry. So, you know, after I tell her, like, girl, he has bodies on him in the spirit realm, definitely. that carry dark energy with them. Because just to break it down in black and white, you can't take a life and not pay a price. Because if you won't pay it in this life, you're going to pay it in the next. So boom, me and her continue talking, right? And then so we get on to their sex life, right? And she's like, the sex is good. And I'm like, well, I'm good. I'm glad one thing is good. And see, me and my friends, we some gutter nasty hoes. So I'm like, girl, what do he be doing and stuff like that? Because you know me, I'm trying to vicariously live through my friends. So she's telling me, and she's like, yeah, he be hella aggressive. And I'll be like, what you mean? She was like, every time he's about to in her, he tells her to call him a demon. Like, I couldn't make this shit up if I wanted to. And I'm not even gonna act like this is the first time I've heard a guy, especially somebody who gang affiliated or just into the street life. A lot of them be like, you know, I'm a demon. I'll be on a demon time and stuff like that. And I'm not talking about the demon time Beyonce's talking about. Like, guys in the street will call themselves demons. And a lot of times they are, because you know that saying, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them the first time. So I said to her, do you actually call him a demon? And she's like, yeah, but not that often. He only asked me to call him that when he's about to come. I'm like, girl, when he's about to what? I'm trying to use PG language because I feel like for me using the N-word and all those story times before this, it might get taken down. But I was like, when you're about to climax, that's the most powerful time to manifest. But she's telling me, you know, she don't like to do it, but you did it. So anyway, of course, she's like, what do I do? And I'm like, girl, I don't know what to tell you because you're an idiot. Because it wouldn't be me. Actually, it could have been me because, bitch, I've been a dumb bitch in the past, too. So the only thing I could tell her is to think of is put a Bible verse above your door. Now, as y'all know, I'm not Christian. I'm not believing the Bible is a spell book. So take that up with your mammy if you don't like what I'm saying. And in certain black spirituality practices, they use Bible and certain scriptures to help with their spell work and their manifestation. Now, my granny, she was a Christian woman, but she knew certain scriptures to do what they needed to do. So I tell her, girl, get some parchment paper. If you don't have parchment paper, get a brown paper bag. Make sure you don't have no writing on it. Rip the brown paper bag off to where it's bare and write I think it was Psalm 35 verse 8 and dip it in ammonia and put it over your door. Like fold the paper up and put it over your door. Thumbtack it, just put it over your door. And I tell her, you have to believe you're going to be protected because otherwise these are just empty words. And then she's like, oh, so is this going to like banish them from my house? I said, bitch, stop watching Charmed. Stop watching Charmed. This is not going to do like a force field around your house. However, it's a good verse for the offense. So anybody who comes in there with an ill spirit, just notice certain nature. Do they get sick? Do they get tired? Do they get a headache? Those are telltale signs that your magic, your manifestations, your verses are working for you. Part 5, the ending. Okay, so we get off the phone and she actually does it. And I'm saying she actually does it as in I'm shocked because, you know, a lot of times we all have those friends that a lot of them want the ending, but they don't want to put the work in. Like, you can't want a solution and not work through the problem. So they went out to eat, right? And then he was fine the whole night. They got in, I would say probably about 11 midnight. You know, they're young niggas. So they're coming up to her apartment, you know, she's a little tipsy, but he's been fine the whole night, remember. So they walk into the house. All of a sudden, he gets a headache and he starts to feel dizzy and woozy. A telltale sign, like I said, the verse is working if you believe. So now she's getting him like ginger ale or some shit like that because, you know, ginger ale makes everything better. But he has the headache. He's feeling nauseous now and stuff like that. So he's like, I gotta go home. He gets home to his house and he calls her up and he's like, I'm fine. He's like, oh, I must have just needed some fresh air. Nigga, what do you mean? We was out all night. You didn't start acting a fool till you got back in my apartment. So she starts texting me, right? But I'm asleep because a bitch like me, once I'm out like a light. So I wake up the next morning and I'm seeing all the texts. She's like, bitch, it worked, bitch, it worked, bitch, it worked. And I looked at her like, did you expect it not to? Because, honey, when you believe in anything, honey, anything is possible. And I told her flat out, I was like, girl, I don't know why you're surprised because it's something you actually wanted and you had the will to make it happen. Because one thing about me, I'm never going to tell somebody to do something that I haven't done for myself. Because as my mama always taught me, I never been the type of bitch to try to convince a hoe to believe something that they already got their mind made up on that doesn't exist. So slowly after a while, you know when you just start to try to alienate yourself from people so you don't text them as much as you used to, you don't call as much, they started just distancing themselves from each other. And when the guy asked, well, what's up? Why are you acting all distant and stuff like that? She told him, you need to get cleansed. She's like, I'm trying to go on the spiritual path. And she was like, you need to sage, you need to do something. And I was like, girl, I hate when the first thing somebody who's new to spirituality be like, say, leave it for the Native American people. Leave it for them. You can use incense, there's hella things, but leave that to the natives. Because what you don't know is sage won't work for everybody. If you know, you know. And sometimes sage in the wrong hands will make it even worse. And it's like, also, like I said to her, think about it. You're telling him he needs to cleanse himself, which is correct. However, for him to use sage, like, he is the negative energy, bitch. He's gonna knock his own self out. But the guy, he took it offensive because he was like, what, you trying to call me dirty or something? So like, and like I said to her, I was like, girl, he's not ready for spirituality. It's gonna go straight over his head every time. And then of course, you know, when you diss a nigga, you know, he starts calling you a bitch, a hoe, your shit wasn't that good. And like I said to her, girl, that's gonna be the first thing niggas always do. And it was the first thing he did. He started trying to diss her on Facebook and social media, that high school shit. And I said to her, honey, I said, don't worry about it, because guess what? He's gonna die one day just the way he lived. And I kid you not even 7 months later, he was shot and killed in a drive-by. Now, that's not me speaking it over his life. I just knew it was going to happen.
And this is the reason why, when you are getting into casting, the first thing that you should never ever touch is a love spell. The first type of work that you should be doing is protection work. I cannot stress that enough. Protect, protect, protect. And you need to learn all forms of protection. All right. I know a lot of people say that they only like to do love and light, but baby, sometimes protection is not always love and light. Sometimes you got to get downright dirty to protect yourself. All right. So again, stop playing with these love spells as the first spell that you decide to cast. You need to be putting protection over yourself. Baby girl learned real quick, once she got that protection up, to look out for the signs. And if you like me, I layer up my protection. So I'm gonna make sure, because I know me, sometimes my ADHD be getting the best of me and I be overlooking shit. But that's why I layer up my spells, so I can say, you know what? Too many things is happening. I'm connecting the dots. I see what's going on. Let me break out my herbs and candles. Where's my Bible? Where's the Psalms? I need them now. But all right, y'all, I want to go ahead and wrap this video up. This one I know was a little bit shorter. I know you guys have enjoyed the longer videos, but we can definitely do a part 2, because when I say I definitely went down the rabbit hole with this one and have a lot more to give, let me know if you guys want to see more, okay? Comment part 2 if you guys are wanting to see a part 2, all right? But with that being said, all right, drink your water, mind your businesses, and stay prayed up and protected. And as always, Luna loves you.